Hello everyone, welcome to the second special episode of Sens. My name is Simon and I am excited to be here again. Okay, so let's just start straight away. A few instants right after Classis' blue box disappeared, it starts to reappear. This time the sound that's accompanying it is very different for some reason. It's not the sound of instead it's going to be a music that starts to play on the speakers of the blue box, and you all start to hear it as soon as it's. Here we go.
Nice.
Okay. The door.
Just dancing along now on the song.
Yeah. The door opens and you can see Classis has changed his appearance once again. Right now, he has this very outdated haircut, and he is a ginger. Hi everybody, I'm back.
Oh, I missed the end of the last session because I couldn't watch it all. In what state am I?
You didn't get so basically for you no time has passed.
Yeah.
But suddenly you have the smell of fresh paint floating to your nostrils as soon as time starts again, and both Alexander and Alistair have suddenly switched spots in your field of vision. They both of them teleported at the same time to be standing in a different place, and something feels slightly wet on your face.
Alistair is also dancing.
Okay, yeah. Classis is just coming out dancing and says, "Hi everybody, I'm back."
Oh, not him.
I like what you did, what you heard. That was quick.
Yeah. What do you mean quick? It's been an entire week.
Time is weird.
Yes, it is. Mitya, you can see that on Cody's face somebody has written in permanent marker "Rules Lawyer," and Alistair, which of them did you make a dick drawing on?
It's me.
It's okay, cool. All right.
Oh no, I think he did both, didn't he?
I did both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one. All right.
Theo was the only one that was not frozen. So
I'll just shaking my head. I'll just go over to the blue box and look at myself in the windows.
Yeah, you can see somebody's written something on your face. I don't remember what it was. I think you have cheater written on the bottom of your face.
yes.
And something on your forehead, and clearly in a distinctive hand drawing is a dick pic on shard.
I'll find a way to freshen up.
Okay. Classis is going to say there's a sink with some water inside if you want to wash up. Make yourself presentable before today's festivities.
That's it. Can I borrow the marker again for a second?
Huh?
Can I borrow the marker again for a second?
Yeah, here you go.
Okay, you don't even try to hide that it's off. Yeah, figures. Okay.
So, Alistair runs over to Cody and he's like, you notice the big buzzes on your forehead. So, he walks over to Cody and he also draws a dick on the back of his head.
Well,
So,
it should be pretty difficult because Cody would be. You're actually writing on his armor.
yeah, like,
Yeah, like frozen.
but that means that like basically he's able to like draw it on the carapace itself.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
As soon as you're done, a sound comes out of nowhere. And Classis is going to say, "All right, you two wait here. I'm gonna do character creation with Mitya." He enters the blue box after Mitya, closes the door, and reopens the door and says, "All right, we're done. You can come in."
Okay, let's go!
Wait a second, Glacius. They didn't know. That was the same thing before. Do you control time or something?
Yeah, this is a time machine, duh.
Oh yeah, that was stupid of me. I'm really sorry.
As soon as Alistair's inside, he's going to look around if anything else changed again.
It's
And the round thing. He's going to stare at the round thing.
looking around. You can you notice that there is something that you hadn't noticed before, which is going to be this this box engraved in polished wood. That is very highly decorated. That is hanging on the side of a wall, right, very near the entrance.
Alistair's going to walk over to the box and like just look at it and like see if it opens.
Yeah, it's got like just the flip the locks that you just flip open, and when you open it, you can see inside is an old-timey revolver. That is that has some very fine details like engraved into the wood and the metal. Classis is going to tell you, hey, don't touch that, please.
I'm just gonna like. It looks pretty.
Yes, but it's not mine. It's a friend's. I've got to use it and give it and get it back to him after I'm done.
Whose is it?
Chekhov. You wouldn't know him.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, just gonna stare at it for a little bit longer and then just close the box. Fine.
I promise. As soon as we start the game, I'm going to stop playing the laughs. It's just I can't help it.
I don't know why, Glacius, but I can't help notice that you would be better off with a rifle than a gun.
Why?
I have no idea, but it seems more fitting.
I mean, it's not for me to use. I use my rapier. That's always at my side as my weapon of choice. Right.
Alistair says, I see you're a man of culture as well. And this is not an approval.
A man of what now?
A man of culture. Like, swords are nice. Like, old-fashioned, but nice.
Yes, it's just not necessarily the culture y'all are used to. I'm a bit outdated and old-fashioned.
I look at him and I just say, yeah, well, seems a waste to me to have a gun and not fire it, but do whatever you want.
It'll come around in Act 3.
And what?
It'll come around in Act 3.
Oh, God. I understand nothing you say.
He is going to say, oh, right, since you weren't here last time, one of the things I didn't specify to you during character creation is this. Bean asked me, Alistair asked me, what the, what was in it for him, for y'all, for helping me out, And what I answered is that for each session that you play with me and help me perfect my game in preparation for the GM role I'm going to have pretty soon, I will answer one of your questions truthfully. Not per person, just for the group.
Last time it was still per person.
Yeah, last time no question had been determined yet. So, if before you want to start, you want to brainstorm a little bit, you can. But
Like, save it for later if we need some information about something.
now I do not know everything. I just know the important stuff.
Yeah, well, what do we want to ask?
Well, I'm pretty sure he knows all the immortals by now on a friendly basis, or at least personal basis.
Yeah.
So we want to know who they are, and we could ask him to describe it in a way that we would know who it was, I guess. But
we could ask where is, because we're trying to find. We sort of know where Solipsis is, but we have no idea where Thin Longfinger is. That could be a question if he knows it.
Yeah, but if you're smart, you would ask if he could give us the locations of all the immortals. If you phrase your question right, you can get all your answers in one question.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like mind games.
We could technically write a question that is monstrously long and specific that would force him to respond to multiple questions.
Yeah, but we would also need to phrase it in a way that he would actually answer what you want to know.
There is you didn't specify any terms of it has to be answerable by yes or no, right?
Don't mention that. I'm not even asking the guy questions anymore. Just leave it be. At some point we'll have a question and just say oh, and by the way, classes. Those questions you mentioned.
Yes.
I am assuming that you're okay with it if we specifically state that we want you to answer that question as one of our favors, basically.
Yes. And here's your question for the previous game.
I was phrasing it as a statement and not as a question.
Sorry, it doesn't work like that.
You are.
I told you this. I saw this one coming. This is why you can't ask this guy questions.
All right. So last we had left off, the two protectors had made their way to Mogosh, the capital city of this world. You had visited the palace of Prince Aslis, the leader of all of this civilization, and learned that an army of acid creatures was on its way to attack the city. Now, there's you might think there's only two protectors, but out of the shadows of the palace is going to emerge another recently resurrected protector who had potentially been resurrected, brought back to life earlier, and who was already prepared. And there, Lias is Whisperer. So here's what Whisperer looks like. Would you like to describe your character a little bit?
Well, what you basically see is not necessarily what you feel. There is, upon your meeting with that character, a sort of sensory confusion that takes you. Because what you see is a small figure that looks masked, but only has two eyes and has a pair of horns on its head. But what you feel has more to do with the forest at night. There is a weird sensation that if you don't look at his physical form with your physical eyes, you're more likely to think he looks like a forest than a person. There is this weird confusion. And although you seem to remember him as having worn a mask to hide his true face, when you see him for the first time, you seem to notice that what should essentially be a mask has a little bit of movement to it, as if it was his face.
And also you're not able to detect the mask as being a separate entity. Like you don't feel a different lias for that face. Now, all of you have created your characters and provided an image for your characters, and also created a Meriadian, which means everybody gets 3 points of start of the game acid immersion. Please add those to your characters and write that you have 3 points of immersion. Now you will note that this modifies your runes ever so slightly, and do not worry, that is perfectly normal.
Wow.
Right. Now,
Are we supposed to have the 3 of this stuff? This acid stuff, what's that supposed to do?
right.
Just add my character, just 3.
This is a game mechanic that all right. Your characters, as of right now, do not have any acid bonds per se, so you do not have any connection to acid itself. But it's your connection to your characters that is represented here. This immersion is what allows you to control this entity from beyond space and time. Now, the characters are fictional, and immersion is a trap. It might feel real when we play. It might feel like those events are truly happening, and you will remember them not as you sitting around this table and playing with me, but instead as having been there. That's the lie of immersion. Now, this is in order for you to be reminded that it's a lie and that it's a terrible, terrible thing. It gives you a penalty for every point that you have of immersion that you have, and it lowers all of your game stats. The other aspect to take into consideration is this immersion allows you to cheat. You can, by disconnecting yourself from the established reality of the world, you can simply spend one of your immersion points to give yourself a plus 30 to strengthen one of your arguments, one of your attacks during combat. And that's it.
Meteor looks at Classius and says, "Oh, that's just like our power for miracles. Plus 30. What the fuck did I just say?"
Oh,
that's...
Alistair's just like, is there a way to get negative immersion?
So if we were outside of this room, you'd be getting negative immersion. Fortunately, you're in here, so you should be fine. Yes, it's kind of like it works like negative immersion, but you can spend it like immersion. It's
like this acid stuff seems to be like lowering my stats,
yes.
And I should want to know if I can boost my stats somehow.
It is meant to lower your stats because it's a bad thing. The more immersed you are in the game, the less. I mean, it's all just fiction. It's all just a lie. I don't want you to get too involved into this thing. I want you to spend those immersion points and break the fabric of reality in the game's story every now and then.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have some fun with that. Also, that reminds me, I have this fire element thing, and that was the one that lets me scream in general at everything, right?
Yes. Well, you can use the emotions connected with fire. So you can't just scream, but all of the elements mixed with all of the feelings associated with fire are stubbornness, animosity. Oh gosh, I'm having to translate it as I go. Agitation. Also agitation, allegres, joy, animation, heat, exuberance, euphoria, effervescence, fugue. Mitya, help me out. What is fugue?
Wait. Fugue?
Hostility, hatred, drunkenness, joy, jubilation, jealousy, being nervous, being panicked, being vengeful, overworking yourself, stimulation, being vehement, passion, love, rage, anger, fury, wrath, being in a hurry, energy, and impatience.
So I can just shout at everything in general, right?
Right, but all of the feelings that are expressed, all of the feelings that you every time that you express one of those feelings, you're doing it with the element of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right. Now, Prince Azalis is going to say, "Quick, let's go and see what's happening." And they are going to start basically leaving the safety of the castle and heading towards the platform outside. Outside of the palace, in order to see what is happening. So here is everyone. Tide, Whisper, and Darius, and Prince Aslis is good.
Ooh, I like the artwork.
Thank you. I stole it from an artist. Okay. And these are the little nasties that are coming to attack you. Basically, what you see is that there's this swarm of creatures, all of which have green tinges and that are dripping droplets of green goo beneath them, flying towards the Mogosh. Along the way, you see that some different air currents either flee from them or try to swerve them away, but still they continue onwards, and they are going to drop the acidics, the minions all over the palace, and specifically targeting the top of the palace in where you all are, and simply. It's just the four of you against them, and also the environment is there, but the palace itself is right now waking up from a slumber, being confused at what's happening, and is not going to take part in this battle unless roused. So, let us get started. So, in order to roll to start combat, you have to roll initiative, and you roll initiative based on the element that you're currently in. So it's going to be your main element. So, for example, Tide, you have water 26, which means your initiative is 2 because it's the bonus of water is going to be like 2. Okay, so please everyone roll initiative
Yeah, okay.
after clicking your token to
Yep.
make it appear. Okay.
That's your tinkering with one of the devices on the table, and you see him like do something with his character sheet. Like, well, how does initiative work again?
Okay, so you use your shadow score. Your shadow.
No, fire.
No, sorry, for Darius, fire. Yeah. Your fire is 28. So your bonus is, so the fire bonus is 2. So you just add 2 to your, you just write 2 to your initiative. You roll 1d10 and you add that, and you're good.
It's super interesting. Didn't we all end up with a score of like 27, 28, 29 in our main room?
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Wow, it's funny.
Okay, wait, hold on. I should have selected my pretties before I... add the turn. Alright. And initiative 9. Alright. No, wait, that was... Okay, initiative 4. Bean. Also add initiative. And I'm gonna add initiative for...
I roll as my character thingy now, I guess.
Okay, got it. So 12 instead. And I'm gonna... well, Alexander's had to leave for a second, so we will be right back. I'm still going to roll for him just so that we know where we're at.
So do I get to go first?
Yes, you are going to get to go first. Descending, here we go. Alright, so Darius, you are... Oh, wait, hold on. My bad. Sorry, I forget myself sometimes. Prince Azilis is going to be first. And what they are going to do is they are going to excitedly say, "Oh my god, I've never been in a real fight before. Here, I can help one of you like I'm one of your weapons." And they're going to offer to basically add their runes powers to one of your stats.
Oh, how do I attack stuff? How is the combat mechanic? I just want to press all the buttons, but which one is for the attack?
Simply, you formulate an argument as to why the enemy is wrong in doing what they're doing, and depending on how you formulate it, it determines which element you're using to attack. You click to roll, and they click to defend with the element that
I have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
With the Satantra's sort of emotional recognition power, do we have an inkling of the motivation of these creatures?
Well, it's not their turn yet, but you have felt the strong emotional vibrations as they were coming towards here, and which is echoed all throughout where the acidics have landed. They are all chanting the same thing. They're all chanting, "No master, no gods, no kings."
Mm-hmm.
And it's...
Do we fight with the swords, or do we just shout at them and point to weapons we have?
Because it's so hard to describe exactly how the sense of lies works, in general, it's going to be a double description. You're going to A, describe your argument, like what you're responding to them, and B, describe how it manifests as a fire attack or as a shadow attack of some sort. So Prince Azilis is going to I think I'm gonna go and help Tide. So they're going to offer Tide a bonus. Okay. So, Darius, it is your turn.
Oh. And you see him like sit straight up and just inhale, and then he goes like, Fireball!
Alright. And you propel a fireball on all of them. That absolutely makes sense. So, I need you to roll for fire. And I also need you to roll for... and you need to add your the bonus given to you by your equipped reagents. So since those bonuses are fire-related...
Do I just roll this thing and then just add 30 after?
Yes, and you add 30 after. Well, you add 30 in modifier. Oh, nice! I think... Oh, I forgot to modify this. It's always going to show critical successes if you roll higher than 5. So, that's... fine. No, wait, hold on. Okay, right.
Sure, this is...
Right. You should have had a window prompt where you could add the plus 30, but so yes, you rolled an 82.
For difficulty, I don't know how that works. I just roll and then add modifier. It's easier and faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So the Meriadian try to defend and are the one you aimed at is unable.
I rolled an 82 on the just the bunch of them over here.
Right. Attacks are single target in this game system. You can only attack one at a time, unfortunately. But you... Alright. So, you are going to damage their right radiance directly. Those creatures... So, you inflict... okay, hold on. Let me remember. You inflict 1 point of damage if you're using the same element as they're using. You inflict 2 points of damage if you're using... you inflict 3 points of damage to their radiance if you're using the opposite element, and you inflict 2 if you're using any of the other elements. So, I believe you have just burnt one of them to a crisp, rendering them not dead, but in a state of... I think we said tiredness? And their radiance is extinguished. Whisper, it is your turn.
By the way, guys, when we were inside the building, what you saw was Whisper, and he had a little fox on his shoulder. And as you go out and you see the monsters, when you turn your head back to Whisper, it's now the opposite. There is a huge fox, and Whisper sits on his head. And you did not see the fox change size in any way, shape, or form. You didn't hear anything, and the fox still gives off the exact same sensations and sentiments. It just has a different size now, through a way that you cannot explain. And so, what I will do is that sitting cross-legged on the head of the fox, Whisper will gently, with a move of his hand, throw a puff of dark smoke towards one of the monsters. And the argument is basically going to be... the idea is, it's going to create an illusion in which the prince is in front of the monster, defenseless, and the monster is going to kill it. But then another prince is going to appear, and it's going to kill it again. and another prince is going to appear, thus endlessly. And the argument is going to be something like, through killing power, you only create a void in which power comes back. Do you not think your quest has to do with you, yourself, and what's inside of you?
Nice. I'm actually going to give you a +10 modifier on your roll to... yeah, go ahead and use Shadow. Okay.
I did add the
Okay.
plus 40.
So,
How do you add bonuses? Is this the asset conversion thingy?
yeah. So the creature that you strike with this is just going to endlessly inside of this illusion just keep on, like it like time works differently inside of your illusion, but it stretches into infinity and it keeps on killing the prince. And so it remains unaffected by your radiance power. Tide. Prince Azilis was the first to act this turn, and they said they've never been in a fight before. They don't know necessarily how to engage, so they've offered to support their powers to yours. You see them changing to the element of water, and is going to reach out to grab your hand, and is going to basically empower you with like their own energy of the bonds of water that they have. So that is represented in the all action bonus that is on your character sheet right now, and you feel this rush of energy. You can tell that that Prince Azilis is ancient and has formed many deep bonds with a lot of creatures, and that their power is able to like help yours tremendously. So how are you going to attack those creatures with the water?
Let's see. So, is this the way where like I use like my weapon, or am I using specifically water? I want to make sure I understand.
Well, you can describe it however you want. It is an attack, but it is also an argument. You're projecting emotional power at your enemies, right? Which means if you're expressing one of the emotions of water, then you're using your water stat. And the way that water usually takes care of fighting is through diplomacy and being able to like find compromises, oh, hold on, that's the wrong book. Yeah, here it is. Find compromises, negotiate to give a sort of give and take, so that the opponent just ceases to have the will to fight. Here, let me read the sentiments of water. Softness, peace, apathy, grief, calm, charm, compassion, love, comprehension, conciliation, contentment, relaxation, tenderness, feeling full and or complete, decontraction. No, how's that translate in English? Calmness again, or just being relaxed. Deliverance. Compassion, serenity, empathy, felicity, prudence, temperance, quiet, relaxation, sensibility, tranquility, and wisdom. Right. So just to give you like a sort of mind space. So the argument that those creatures have been using to attack everything is they're shouting, "No gods, no kings, no masters," and then they keep repeating that: "No gods, no kings, no masters."
Am I right in saying basically the dual thing where we do a physical attack who's mainly an aesthetic choice?
Yes.
And then the argument is the core of the matter.
Exactly. The argument is the core of the matter. Your description of the attack can reinforce the points that you're trying to get. Exactly like you created an illusion with the shadows in order to emphasize your point of killing those in parallel creates a power vacuum. And it looks cool because you're bending the elements, so that's why that rule is in there. So Tide, how are you going to convince those creatures not to attack your precious capital?
I think what I'm going to do... Oh, there are so many ways I could go about this. I think instinctively I'm going to... trying to figure out what I would do in the moment. I would... No. I'm going to lower my weapon and hold a hand out and say, if you want no masters, if you want no gods, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing here. Let's take a moment to figure out what the hell is going on.
Alright, roll for water. And I have to roll for my defense. Oh man, I rolled really high too, but you can feel your argument to just take a moment to figure things out instead of fighting, washes over the creature and drains its radiance completely. So it is now incapacitated, and it is actually going to come towards you and take your hand like you suggested. It has 0 radiance, so it's useless in combat right now, but it extends this claw-like appendage, reaches into your hand, and you can feel a few drops of green acid corroding out of its body, touching your skin. It feels icky, but it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
Alright, so the last 2 acidics watch this and seeing how their companions have been slightly overwhelmed. The one at the center is going to make a call and say, "United, we're stronger. United, we're better than the masters." And it orders this one to come and join it, and this one jumps and joins it, and it is going to grow into a larger version of itself. And then...
Yay! Now it's easier to hit!
And then it is going to... and then it's going to yell the same thing. No gods, no masters, no kings. And it is going to direct this attack at you, Tide. It is going to say, there is never time for peaceful negotiation as long as there are tyrants. And I'm gonna need you to roll for your defense, which is the element that you are using currently, which is water. I think I have an inkling that this. Oh my god! You rolled a 100. Okay. Yeah. You just perfectly defend against the. Oh wait, hold on. No, my roll should have been better, but you just perfectly defend against its attack.
How do you roll so high? I want to do that too. Alistair's just soaking.
Get that boost.
It's because Prince Azel is like supporting them right now. You can tell like Prince Azel is starting to like seeing how easily you defend against this attack is going to cheer you on and say, "Yeah, Tide, you can do it!" And Darius, it is your turn.
I'm going to just. Can I blow up the area too in this game?
You can attack the palace itself, the ground on the floor. Right now, the ground on the floor is not really opposing you in any way, and attacking it will just absorb the emotions that you have until you manage to like deplete all of its radiance. So it won't have like effects on the environment until you shatter the environment. So you have to like defeat the palace and then shatter it to become different entities for it to start to change the environment.
I don't understand all the complications. Can I just like try and make this thing explode?
Yes, you can attack the creature directly, make it explode.
Alistair just sits like in his chair and he stretches out his arms again and says, "Explosions!"
Alright, roll for fire, please. And you have the plus 30 from your Myriadian.
That's,
and you didn't include the plus 30.
On the
so you are able to burn it for 2 points of radiance. It is still standing, much tougher than the previous ones that you have fought. It crawls out of the fire, and you can see that the acid that you are burning is kind of singeing into this black ichor that is going to like drip on the floor. You can see the tiles beneath the creature's feet trying to move away. Like as every time that there's a drop, as if like repulsed by the element that they're interacting with. Whisper, it is your turn.
I think Whisperer will disappear in a puff of smoke and reappear in another puff of smoke, sitting astride the enemy, and he will just whisper, "And what will you do once you kill the master? Will you not become the master? Are you anything but the repercussion? A new way to destroy, to enslave? Is your anger justified? Or is it something deeper?" And he will disappear again.
Alright. Roll for darkness. I feel like you're using like a lot of different arguments that could be different attacks if the fight was going to last longer, but it is very good that you're doing like that. Like I can see you have a lot of ideas for how to make your enemies doubt. Ooh, I rolled 94, and you rolled better.
Yep.
Yep. All right. You strike at it. You put doubt in its mind, and it is. It is going. You see it trying to formulate a response. It is going to say, "The acid has promised. Acid has a plan. We will be free." And then you can see you've instilled so much doubt into the creature that it is going to cease having radiance, and it is now in a state of tiredness, meaning it is unable to take any actions on its own. In fact, it will do anything that it is told to do. Azelis says, "Wow, that was really efficient." Good job.
Oh, can I tell the thing to self-destruct?
You. Yes. You. Are you doing that?
No, just wondering if I could. I'm trying to think of more creative ways, but
You could ask it to self-destruct. That is the equivalent of you, because you're asking it to be destroyed. That would be the same thing as you destroying it. It would become a shattered creature, meaning it would split into other different creatures.
oh, what? How was that you mentioned that like we got resurrected? Can we like eat these things or something?
It would be possible to bring those things back to life. Right now, they're not dead. But there's only one place in the world where you can do that.
Can I just look at Azilis and say, perhaps you would like to ask them what the acid has promised them, what its plan is?
Yes. And they're gonna say, creature, tell us what your mission was and what you were trying to gain. The creature is going to like squirm a little bit at the elemental emotions flowing over them, and then it's going to follow the order and say, we were promised deliverance from this endless quest for the ultimate sentiment. We do not wish to reach it, and we do not think anyone should wish to reach it. We were promised that with your when the plan was fulfilled, you would not be there anymore to lead the people, and then the people would give up. What our mission was.
Like, oh, stand and deliver, and he just sticks his staff in the thing.
You just stick your what?
The staff, like that looks like a sword.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Are you? So I assume you're attacking it. Does that mean you wish to shatter the creature before you?
Yes.
All right. In this case.
Blow it up. I want to blow it up into pieces.
Yeah. In this case, the creature breaks apart. You can see that it forms that its form ceases to be as it once was, and instead it's just a pile of rocks, a little bit of dirt, and a couple of small twigs coming out of the pile. There's also splurts of acid coming out of the creature that are going to basically just like fall on the floor and start to kind of infect the flora around it, basically turning the cobblestones into a greener color. And yeah, the creature is no more. That was the big one. There's still another one, and the other one, Prince Azilis is going to say, "Okay, what was your mission?" And the creature is going to say, "Provide a distraction while acid was going downtown."
Can I just pick up the rocks and twigs and try like take them?
You pick up the rocks. You can feel this sense of confusion coming from all of them. They're stubborn, because that's usually the emotion that rocks display. But they are also new to this world, in the sense that a lot of the bonds that those creatures had have just been converted to bonds towards the rocks' names, the rocks' lives. So right now they're kind of scatterbrains. All of them are expressing, different emotions, just in general being where am I? What is happening?
Can I try and eat one of the rocks? Can I try and eat one of the rocks?
Can you what? One of the rocks?
Can I eat them?
You have no mouth, so you're unable to eat them. You could, if rock has points of, if any creature has points of radiance, you can force it to transmit some of its bond's energy to you. But right now,
I want that.
None of them have any radiance. You'd have to give up some of your own.
Never mind.
It's okay. You can recover your radiance after resting, or if somebody else gives you some of their radiance.
I was just wondering if there was a way in this game to just like absorb things from around you, make become stronger.
Okay.
I will go to the last creature that's left, and I will tell him, "What is your name, little thing?"
I am acidic. That is my lias.
Acidic, will you lead us to where the acid was going?
It doesn't move. As it is going to say, lead us to where the acid was going, and the creature immediately starts to scurry. All throughout the town, you can see that this army that was invading have been rather easily defeated. A lot of the as you're walking through the streets, you can see that multiple Myriadians and Cetantras are basically herding defeated creatures together. Now, since there is no specific way to dispose of the acid, what is being done to them right now is simply that they are being placed into glass chests. The glass chests are volunteers of sorts who have who are offering their own bodies as cages for the enemy, and but cages without shadow, so cages from within which one cannot rest, and so that is where those creatures are being piled, and the creature leads you to out of the palace, out of the higher parts of the city of Mokosh, and it just reaches some houses and it stops.
By the way, guys, all throughout the walk through the city, the fox is always the right size to be able to go into streets, or it seems to sort of shapeshift without you ever noticing when it does.
Prince Aslis is going to say, "I've had enough motions for one day. Please investigate what our enemy was doing. I will go back to the safety of the palace and observe from there." Right. And so you are in those streets when the creature stops. What do you do?
Where is it? Where's your master?
Somewhere around here.
I will kneel onto the creature and say, "Now, you who wished to have no master, you have made acid into yours. I want you to know that, and to reflect upon it." And I'll just rise up and start looking into the streets to see if there's something going on.
Alright, I'm going to make a light roll.
Oof.
Can I just stare at the buildings? Is there something like a weird color?
You don't see any... okay, so hold on. Please roll for light as well.
This isn't gonna work. I cannot be trusted with the light rolls.
Yeah. Darius is even worse.
My light score is literally 3.
Which right now is 0. Oh, by the way, everybody gets 1 point of acid immersion.
Damn it.
All right. So yeah, looking around, your eyes do not spot anything that is out of the ordinary in the city. Now remember, eyesight is not the primary sense of your characters. By the way, Tide, you can take off the bonus that you had for Azala's providing you with their power. So it's the all-action bonus / penalty. You have to revert it back to 0.
Wait, so there is this whole... I've just struggled to remember. The idea of a force field in which we can feel everything, isn't it? No. I say a force field, that's not an idea. That field.
Alright, so your sense of Lias allows you to sense and project elemental emotions. Depending on your radiance, the sphere in which you're able to do that grows larger. So you are able to communicate with creatures that are farther away, the stronger your radiance becomes. So far, the farthest you've been able to tell somebody was able to communicate was in Dallas, who was still within range of communication long after you had left Visage. Based on what you know, Masters of the Schools and Prince Azaliz would be the creatures able to communicate from longest distances. You're able to... So anything that is within your sphere of influence is something that you can communicate with. You can search for the liases of those creatures simply by scanning for the emotions of creatures around you and discuss with them. Right now, you're beginning characters, which means your ability to communicate is limited to basically the street itself.
Okay.
Alumino seems a little bit bored, and he's like walking around, and he's like looking at the buttons and stuff in the center of the weird building thingy that like Tassus lives in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, your class is going to look at you and say, tell me if I'm boring you. Anyways, what are the...
I don't understand emotions. I want shiny objects or something.
That is...
There's nothing like shiny.
Right. That is kind of the... One of the points of this game is to is to reach a better understanding of argumentation and emotions. And so the fact that you don't understand means that you are the perfect candidate for this game.
Okay. And Alistair just like starts pressing buttons or stuff, and he's like,
okay, just you. All right, you can press any of those buttons. It's fine. They're not going to make us go forwards or backwards in time. Just don't press the one over there, because that is the one that gets us back into narrative time, and we do not want to go back in narrative time right now.
Okay, let's not do that. Well, is this forward button? And you seem like mess with the asset immersion thingy. He's like, how do I click the forward button?
How do I what?
It's like, is this the forward button? You see Alistair just mess around and
like you press a lot of different buttons. You quickly realize that that most of the buttons on the control panel do nothing.
Like it's made Alistair proof. You
are able to like dim the lights or make them way too bright around the room with one of those things, but that's
and it's just like mess with the light and make it like go brighter and then dim it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, you were in a street investigating the enemy of all of the creatures of this world, Acid.
I will simply then try to contact Acid. Acid, we wish to talk with you.
Alright, you expand your mind and your lice, and you find nothing within your range that has the lice of Acid. Now, this is probably something that you're aware of. Anybody who has bonds made out of the element of acid is able to create more, in exchange for corrupting themselves even more with acid, become anonymous for a certain amount of time by basically wearing the mask of acid, gaining its appearance and gaining its traits, but in exchange being unrecognizable.
But it looks like acid, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that looks like acid.
Yeah, it would look like acid. Now, of course, that is a temporary mask. So right now, you have two options. Either acid was really here and it has left in a hurry, or whoever was pretending to be acid, somebody was pretending to be acid and has taken the mask off.
Okay. So can I feel the liaison of things in the street?
Yes. You feel the lies of cobblestones, tiles, roofs, walls, doors, all manner of creatures are around you. There's a lot of are expressing sturdiness and the strong willpower in the face of an enemy attack. Everybody is like you can sense entire buildings just getting prepared in case there's a second wave and things like this. You do hear a few whispers of warnings coming through the winds that are saying, "Oh, I spotted something there. I spotted something in that direction."
Can I sense like how powerful stuff is around me?
Yes, you are able to tell the radiance of creatures by simply being within their range of radiance.
Okay, so what are like the strongest and also the weakest things around me?
So the strongest thing that you can feel within your range is Azalis themselves. Azalis has this tremendous amount of radiance coming out of them. The second most powerful thing is going to be Mogosh, the volcano itself. It is this sort of dormant, gigantic myriadian upon which the entire city rests. And the third most powerful thing is going to be the forest that surrounds Mogosh. That was a present to Prince Azalis from the School of Earth, as they promised that so long as the forest was there, no enemy would be able to walk up to Mogosh. The forest would stop them. Unfortunately, that did not account for flying enemies.
Okay, can I simply ask the things that are around?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody new? Anybody that just appeared that shouldn't be there?
All right. So you are going to interact with. You ask around, and one of the there's going to be a creature that is going to volunteer some information, saying, "Oh yes, I recently." 5 new creatures have appeared in the house at the end of the street.
Thank you, then. Do you know their aliases?
Yes. So one of them is called Deer. One of them is called what's it called? Hold on, give me 1 second. Gear. Okay, just give me 1 second. So there's Deer and Gear. Well, like it gives you the name, the list, the list of the names, basically. Hold on. Instead of Deer, I think I'm probably going to name it Avocado because I have a. Let's see. It's an elf creature. I think I remember having. No. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So yeah, it gives you the names of creatures that just spawned. Alright, what do you do?
Should we go inside the house, guys?
Where did that? The thing is still here, right? That weird acid thing.
The acidic is still present at the scene.
Take me to your leader.
Just
go. Take me to your leader.
It does not move. I know.
I'm just gonna smash it then.
Okay. You shatter it and creating another. Creating a bush and multiple pebbles. The bush's leaves are wet with acid, and some of the creatures that are walking around the streets, pushing everything that is obviously made out of acid towards the glass chests, are going to keep doing the same. You can sense this strange, a lot of weird emotions coming from the people around here. When you can tell that, like, as soon as the attack stopped, everybody seems to have become wary of one another. At least those who are able to express the emotion of worry or paranoia. Those are shadow emotions. Are there any
that are not worried? Are there any that are not worried?
Sorry, I need you to repeat this. Can you get closer to your mic?
Are there like ones that are not worried?
Was there another void?
No, like other ones that don't seem worried about the acid.
Yeah, everything that is made out of earth, like the buildings and the tiles, do not seem worried, but they're
Oh, I just thought about something. You mentioned elements having opposites.
Yes.
Which element is opposite of which? Do you know that?
Fire and water, earth and air, light and darkness.
Okay. All of a sudden, I don't know, I was like, oh, it's not like that. You know, like maybe earth is the opposite of, shadow or something.
It's good to specify. The destroyed you see basically the guardians of this place are going to take away the creature that has the bush that has acid and lock it into one of the glass chests. You continue on your merry way, and you are going to enter a house that is composed that looks like this on the inside. There's a little bit of snow, and there's gears everywhere. In the center of the house, you see multiple creatures, all of which are in this sort of strange state of confusion that you've seen in the creatures that Darius had previously shattered. Right now, there's more of them. It's just the two main ones are going to be like those that you see here, Avocado and Wolfsbane. And the Avocado is basically retreating to the shadows, apparently scared of something. And the Wolfsbane is just playfully looking around, discovering its new surroundings.
Is it, wait, when something is shattered, do we know how that works? Like, for instance, if a Sentantra is shattered, does it lead to 6 myriadians? Is there a logic like
It could lead to either just 2 creatures, or to as many creatures as you have points. So for example, right now you have 78 points. So if you were... so it's random, but you could become between 2 and 78 creatures right now.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
Yeah. There's stories of weapons from the School of... I think it's the School of Fire had a weapon that was shattered cleanly in 2, and now they're dual weapon. They're being dual wielded by one of the Masters of Fire. So...
well, I will approach the Wolfsbane.
Yeah, Wolfsbane. Here it is. It sees you, says, hello, welcome to my home. This must be by, yes.
Hello. Have you been here long?
10 minutes?
Oh, do you remember where you were before?
I was not before.
Yes, I suspected as much. Do you know why your friend over there, hiding in the shadow, is afraid?
It's a coward. It has emotions of shadow. I have no such weakness. I am brave. It's afraid of the... you kind of look like the thing that shattered us, and we couldn't tell. Well, shattered our previous incarnation. You are... kind of shaped like it.
Kind of, I see. You don't, by any chance, happen to know the alias of what shattered you?
I do. It was called acid.
Oh, I see. I will ask the house.
Yeah.
Hello, house. What is your alias?
I'm gonna have to use words from other languages, so I'm gonna have to call it demeure.
Okay. Hello? Can you tell me who inhabited you? Who they were before being shattered?
Before being shattered, all of those creatures were a Setantra called Clockwork.
Clockwork?
Yes. If you so desire, I can show you.
Oh, please do.
Alright. I will teach you the ritual of... Hold on. Wrong book. I will teach... So all of you are going to learn a ritual, which is going to be... Okay, hold on. I got the find where... Okay. So all of you can write on your character sheet. You are learning the ritual of sentimental reading.
Where would we put that?
Okay, so you see rituals on your character sheet. It's right under Myriadians. So Mastered Ritual, you just click Add, and you are going to be able to write Okay, so the name is Sentimental Reading. The cost is 1 point of radiance. And range is touch. And basically, it allows you to enter the memories, enter basically the bond of a creature. So, all of you can write this down. Darius, come back here and write this on your character sheet. Sorry, not Darius. Alistair.
I already wrote it, but like, what does it do exactly?
Right, perfect. So the house teaches you how to do it, and you're able to go as a group. So only one of you needs to spend a point of radiance. When you do so, what is going to happen is that the house opens up its sense of lies to you and allows you to peer into its memory of previous events. And so you are going to enter the lias of I am bound to Wolfsbane. Previously this bond was called I am bound to Clockwork.
Oh, okay.
And so
make a knock knock. And it just goes knock knock.
Alright. And what is going to happen is that you're going to enter a scene where nobody really sees you, but you're going to be able to observe the scene. And you see a Citantra, just a regular Citantra, going about their daily lives. When the sounds of the alarm start to ring, you hear the thud of acidics landing all throughout the city, and shortly thereafter enters this character. You're going to see the malevolent presence of a humanoid creature that just enters the house, pushes the door apart, and is going to say, Clockwork, I hear from a good source that you have a bond with a prisoner known as what's his name again? Forgotten. You were once in a relationship with Forgotten, and I desire to have this bond. Give it to me. You see the Clockwork saying, like, surprised to see Acid, and is going to say, I absolutely refuse. I have nothing to do with you, and you will not corrupt. And they start fighting. Acid seems to be using the element of acid itself to fight, while Clockwork is using light, basically rays of light. You see them arguing until Acid basically vanquishes the Clockwork and walks towards it and says, there's a chance when I shatter you that the bond you have will become weaker or change, but I'm willing to take this chance. I need to see Forgotten. And the creature is shattered. Clockwork is shattered, breaks apart into multiple pieces, and you can see Acid is going to touch each creature in turn and disappear into their memories, trying to find the bond it's looking for, and then come back out. And while they're still basically all tired and in a state where they can't do anything, it is going to take a small gear with it, and it is going to leave the house. In the memory, you're able to see that basically after this, it calls upon green winds to make it float high up in the air, and it escapes the city of Mogosh.
Okay.
And
while still looking like acid.
Yes, while still looking like acid.
Well, I think we ought to look into that forgotten person. I will turn to my fox. What did you say, Darius?
What about the green wind? Like, do we do anything with that? I mean, I don't know, but air doesn't really look green usually. But if it's diluted, maybe.
What looks
I have
green?
no idea.
Air.
Air. Oh, right, yeah.
So if air could lie, then maybe that might be something.
Oh, the house is going to say you have to be careful with the ritual I have just taught you. It is, first off, it has some unforeseen consequences. Every time that you go into something's memory, you modify that memory slightly. I now remember you as having been present during the murder, and so will every creature that was present during the murder. They will know you investigated it. The other thing is, if the bond, you will not be able to tell if you're visiting a bond of acid, and whoever is allowing you inside of their lias will unfortunately be able to present a scene that is absolute fiction. So you have to be wary and know that you can trust and know that you might not be able to trust any creature that allows you to visit inside of their lias. Also, just know you do not need to ask for permission. You can just forcefully enter somebody's memories. You will enter in the order in which their bonds were created. And unfortunately, what this, you will, and you need to spend more radiance in order to go deeper into more bonds and to be able to see farther into the past of that creature. Basically, just letting you know, it means that if somebody tries to enter your lias and tries to find out what bonds you have, they will start with the last bond you have written on your character sheet. So for Whisper, it would be I am bound to doubting in my heart, but you don't have to keep your bonds in the order that you have written them. It is possible to rearrange your tier, rearrange like the sentiments in your organ in order to present things outwardly that you would prefer people to know about you.
I will turn to my fox and I will just go, can you go reassure the little thing in the shadows?
Can I?
We are not to be. Can you? I will say to my fox. I will tell it. Can you go into the corner with a little doe creature and just reassure him that nothing will happen to it? Oh, I can't hear you.
It says yes. It moves over to Avocado, and it is going to say, safety is never guaranteed. We know it as creatures of shadow. You're going to have to live with the fact that nothing is predictable ever. But don't worry, you will get used to it. And it's going to start nuzzling the other creature, basically like comforting it in its own way. Right. So, what are you going to do next?
Well, I think we could go back and tell the prince what happened here.
Right. you start to head back towards the palace. Once you have made your way there, you enter the palace of dark lava, and Prince Azelis is. You can tell that they're waiting impatiently on the throne of their father. Right now, there's thousands of Myriadians that have crowded into the palace that are asking multiple questions. You hear somebody saying, "Are you going to counterattack? How can you promise this won't happen again? What just happened? What was the enemy trying to achieve?" And you see Azelis is radiating calm water that's flowing out of them, and basically just like soothing everybody who's present and trying to answer with they shift between water and light. And with light, they're going to state facts, saying that we don't know for certain, we are safe as of right now, we have an investigation underway, we will know soon. I must ask for your patience. And once you enter the throne room, they are going to demand to be left alone with their protectors. And everybody who's not a piece of the palace is going to crawl, fly, or wheeze out of this place. What have you learned? Tell me.
Well, we tried to follow Acid, and we discovered he had shattered a Satantra, one called Clockwork, in order to acquire its bond to a prisoner named... I struggle to recall. Oh yes, forgotten.
Clockwork was one of my advisors. His loss is terrible. Alright. Alright. If anything has been proven today, it's that the defenses of Mogosh are pretty secure. The palace didn't even have to wake up to ensure that I was safe, and I am confident. Well, I will be confident once you confirm it, but I think that I could have handled myself in the fight against the Acidics. Next time I'll just try to follow Tide's lead. I'm better equipped to use the element of air in general, but I think I could, yes, handle myself in a fight. If I need your protection, I will, in a hurry, I will use the ritual of teleportation to bring you all back to me. In the meantime, I would like to request that the three of you, my most trusted protectors, investigate the actions of Acid. Please go to the Labyrinth of the Night, the prison of our world, and find this Forgotten, interrogate them to try to find out why Acid might want a bond with them.
Very well. How can we head to this place?
I will show you a map. Alright, so currently all of you are in Mogosh. Right here. The Labyrinth of the Night is... okay, I need to check the book's map. Here we go. I should have a piece of paper there to be able to refer to it pretty quickly. Here we go. Right. Labyrinth of the Night is right under the city of Zuria, a little bit around here. So I'm going to shift click it. Here we go. There we go. So it is going to be here. I'm going to write it down on the map. Prince Azilis is going to give you directions for how to go there. Now, of course, Prince Azilis knows how to get to the location on the surface. The knowledge of how to traverse the Labyrinth of the Night is reserved to members of the School of Shadow. It is, after all, a prison in which creatures are kept in darkness. In order for their sense of Alvea to completely deceive them and make them think that they are, in fact, not prisoners but elsewhere. This way, it's an efficient way of keeping them there. Now, let's see, where is the... here we go. Text. It's... and white, and I think 32. And... Labyrinth of the Night. And I'm actually going to color it slightly differently because it is not a... here we go. Because it is not a city, it is a place. Okay, I'm actually going to make it a bit larger. Here we go. Labyrinth of the Night. Right. So, do you have means of travel, or would you like me, or I could give you advice that Clockwork gave me actually a while back on how to create means of faster travel.
Seems fair.
That would be great. Also, did you mention something about the ritual of teleportation?
Yes, the ritual of teleportation allows you to teleport weaker creatures than yourself to which you are bound to your location.
To your location or you to them? To your location or you to them?
To your location. So, because you're all bound to me, I would be able to call you to protect me from anywhere. Right. It's, Ritual of Teleportation. It costs 3 points of Radiance to summon one creature. Also, so Prince Asvis is going to say, I will now teach you the Ritual of Forging, so that you may all be able to use it in the future. This ritual is one that will weaken you permanently, so you have to use it sparingly. But what you are able to do is that you can sacrifice some of the strength of one of your bonds to imbue that into another creature. So, for example, if I take this rock here and I infuse it with a little bit of sentiment of fire, and you see Prince Aslis is concentrating, and the rock is going to change from something that has the name stone to something that has the name lava, and it is going to melt between Aslis's fingers. You're able to direct it to the shape that you desire, and you're able to grant it the ability to sense new feelings. From here on, lava is going to be able to use feelings of fire, and will be able to develop those feelings even more by themselves.
What was this ritual called?
The Ritual of Forging. It costs 1 point of radiance per point of intensity that you give to that being, and it permanently lowers one of your bonds by 1 for each point that you transfer. So Azilis is going to say, so if you so desire, you can use that ritual to move to change the shapes of things that are in your path, or to make flying creatures or swimming creatures that will transport you. You can, for example, use it for one of your weapons. Would one of you like to well, I believe one of your weapons is already potentially a mount, but he's very small right now. So, if you would like to try and practice it, I invite one of you to try out this ritual now.
I am very weary of it.
Hmm?
But it lowers stats. No. I don't like to do that.
You have to know, the more time you spend with any creature, the deeper the bond becomes, and then your strength will be replenished. So this is a sacrifice, but it is a temporary sacrifice. By the way, this is classes. Sorry.
But there's a permanent victories.
Sorry. I am interrupting the game. Classes here. You at the end of each session, you gain 10 points of experience that you're able to spend in the next session to boost your bonds with other creatures by 1, or to create a new bond.
Okay.
So right now, from the previous session, you all have 10 experience points that you can use to boost your bonds. So, for example, if you've connected with the house, demeure that you interacted with earlier, then you can write a bond with demeure. If you have interacted with a new concept, or if you want to bond with things like acid or things like this, then you can develop these whenever at any point. Just let me know. I'd like to be prepared. Now, what were you saying, Alistair?
Yeah, but like this ability thing, like it gives like a permanent debuff, but
Yes, it
that's
gives.
what you said yet. But like, did you say that it's not permanent, basically?
It lowers one of your stats by 1, but you can use your experience points to raise that that bond back to its previous level. Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, by the way,
stop. So
by
I make an investment and it pays off more than I invested.
okay, so if you use the ritual of forging and you decide to forge your weapon to give it a little bit of light, in this case, you're going to you lower one of your bonds that you have in light by 1 point, and then if that bond is with like Indalis, and you communicate slightly with Indalis during the game, you're able to repair the bond and raise it back to where it was, or even higher if you want, as long as it stays between 1 and 10. Yeah.
Oh, what if I want to make several bonds to the same thing? Can I do that?
Several bonds, the same thing. You need. Okay. You cannot fuse your bonds yourself, but with the ritual of forging, if you have, for example, a bond that is an intensity of 3, if you transfer all of it to one creature, the bond stays the same. So, for example, but you transfer the entire bond. So, for example, if you ever wish to cease to be my guardians, you could spend 6 points of radiance to transmit to another creature your bond with me. But then all of your memories that you have with me and will be given to that creature, and you will we will no longer be friends. We will have to meet again in order to reestablish a connection. So be careful what you transmit to others. Give me 1 second. My puppy wants to go back into the bedroom. back. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so where? So normally all of those rituals are given to you at the start, and then you. But I thought I would have different characters teach them to you as you go along, so that you. Yeah. So basically, like this is still kind of the tutorial mode, so that you learn everything that you're able to do. So yeah. Prince Azilis is going to say, Alright, I really, because acid has been present in the world for so long now, it's been ages. It's impossible to know who has been corrupted by it and who has not, because it does not always show on the creature's features. The only people I know I can trust are those that have been advised to me by by the masters of their respective schools, the three of you, the protectors, and them and the masters of their schools. After that, I'm not sure. It's a very complicated situation because anybody could be a liar. For all you know, I could be a liar. The bond that I have to my Elias, Prince as it is, I could have faked it. I could have faked my way to being on the throne. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And anybody who knows me knows that my radiance is genuine, that I have love for so many creatures in Myriad, and that so this is why I am telling you this. I am trusting you to investigate and find out what acid is planning, if that is acid. Please be safe. Please do not get yourselves killed again.
I have a question about the ritual of teleport.
The ritual of?
Teleportation.
Yes.
It is that I can use it to bring something to me. Can I use it to go to something I am linked with?
No. But if you are within communication range with a creature that has more radiance than you can, and you're bound to that creature, you can ask it to spend the radiance to teleport you.
I see. Is there a particularly powerful forest towards the labyrinth of... Because if there is, I might have a way for us to travel.
Well, you would have a way for yourself to travel.
Yeah, but then I could bring the other two through teleport. Oh no, I am not bound to them.
You are not bound to them, and you need to be stronger than them. You need to have more radiance than they do. And unfortunately, your friends, I think you are all evenly matched.
No.
There is the lower forest, not far from Arborea.
But it's not useful anymore if we can't travel together.
Yeah.
I could probably...
By the way, I would like to ask, do you like the map of this setting?
It's very nice.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Did you make it?
No, it's just a more advanced. It's just a different version of the official map of the game. Basically, like it's the same features.
Meanwhile, there's also this program called Incarnate. I would really recommend it for map making as well. It's really interesting. It's a lot of updates recently.
Alright, so do you have... If you have any other questions, if you have anything else that you... we should communicate with... my range of communication is fairly large. It's not as large as my father, who was able to communicate with everyone in Myriad, wherever he was. But I, as long as you're within range, you can ask for my support or ask for whatever you wish of me. I'm 100% behind you on this. Good luck on your mission.
Thank you.
And yeah, they're gonna wave their hands and communicate something with the creatures outside, and the Myriadians who were asking to see the pranks are going to return and start and keep going with the courtly proceedings. So, what are your characters going to do now?
I think, friends, we could reasonably travel on my fox, but it will only work whenever there is sufficient space for it to be of a size to take us on, all three of us. In places where there is less space, we cannot mount it.
Also, just drawing on the character sheet.
It is going to say, so streets, in streets I am small, in forests I am tiny, in plains I am a giant.
There we go. So we could reasonably trace our way through plains and all of our spaces and then walk when we need to. But if you have an idea of how we could go towards that place, there might be a better solution.
So there's... Yeah, the only major thing between you and the Labyrinth of the Night is the capital of the School of Air, which is called Breath, and it sits on top of a very large mountain. So it's mostly going to be plains and other features like this in between.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are your characters going to do now? Tide. Alistair, if I give you candy every time you speak and pay attention, will you pay more attention? I hear that works really well for training human children.
And like Alistair just like he's still drawing with like the marker. He hasn't given the marker back that you gave him earlier, and he's just drawing on his character sheet. He's been really silent. That's actually rare for Alistair in general.
Alright.
But he just says like, I'll take the candy, yes.
Alright, excuse me one moment. I have to go to the kitchen and acquire some sweets for our friend. And potentially some... I've got to check if I have some Adderall for him to concentrate. I'll leave you to it. And so, for the first time in ever, you are left alone into the main control room of the TARDIS.
Alistair gets up and he starts walking around if there's other interesting things. Preferably loose things, but like, he's not actually taking anything at the moment because the candy is working as a bribe.
You find beneath the platform that you're standing on, there is a what looks to be a wardrobe, and when you open it, all that there is inside is a collection of ties.
Unless you're going to approve of these and like look at them and see if there's any like interesting colors, like preferably bright ones.
There's some very creative color choices. Is the nicest way I'm going to put this. Right. Classes returns. Says here, I got you some coffee. I know it helps me concentrate, and I got you a bowl of sweets that I'm going to place right in front of me, so that every time that you want to pick one up, you're gonna have to look at me and listen to what I'm saying. Okay.
Adolf just like standing in front of him, like really close, like, and just snacking on it. Like no concept of personal space at all.
Classis does not seem to mind that much. Before you leave, Azalis contacts both of you and says, all three of you, and says, if you so wish, you are free. If your radiance was in any way spent, you may rest inside of the shadow chambers of the palace. Feel free to use them. I don't have any other guests, so.
I don't think we need to, do we?
I think one of you spent radiance. One of you had to spend radiance to go into the memory.
Oh, well, let's say that was me then.
Okay. Okay. So, if you would like to recover some radiance, you the rules are pretty simple. You simply have to go into one of those shadow chambers, or in a place where there is no light, and simply describe what your character hallucinates in there. The sense of Alvea, the second pair of eyes that you have, is so strong and overwhelming that it kind of overtakes your other senses and makes you. And once you are in complete shadow, you're going to believe what you're seeing to be true. It overtakes even your sense of touch. But the shadow chambers are not made to be prisons. They open every hour that you spend hallucinating in there, and for you to exit the shadow chambers if you so wish. So, if you have, so those basically are like bedrooms. The shadow chambers of the palace are particularly comfy and fitted with cushions and blankets, and warmed up with some cozy sentiments of fire.
Okay. Well, I think Whisper is going to take an hour to just recover, and at first he's not going to hallucinate anything. Only him in a dark, in a very, very wide space, as if it was no longer a room, but just a plane. And slowly throughout the hour, there is a rumble that is going to start very, very, very faint, and that is going to start to buzz stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And at the end of the hour, it's as if he is in a world that is buzzing, despite the fact that there is nothing.
All right, and and basically the hallucination is not directly stopped, but you're going to see a split above your head as the shadow chamber opens up, for which you're able to see the sky through this white thing. And then, as the light pours in, it's going to split the void, revealing Earth all around you, and the buzzing is going to stop as your other senses are able to take over again. All right.
Nice.
So, you are rested. Okay. So, all of your characters. Okay, everybody gets one more point of acid immersion. And okay. So, Tide, Darius, and Whisper, you are going. Once you're rested, you are. Oh, actually, you know what? Tide and Darius. While Whisper is resting, you have about an hour in which you can do anything you'd like in the city of Mogosh. There's plenty of stuff that you can do. You can spend time with different creatures and get to know them, forming bonds with them. You can explore just practically any, like, yeah, you're inside of the capital of the world. There's sights to see.
Can I get more fire?
Yeah. So would you like to? So either you say that you strengthen your bond with one of your concepts, or you spend time communicating with one of the creatures that you have a bond of fire with, or you can create a new bond. But you can say that you meet a friend in Mogosh. You can say, if you want, you can.
So I can say I strengthen my bond with blue fire, and then we would both get it.
Yeah. So you spend time. How are you going to get closer? Are you going to train together? Are you going to fight one another?
I'm going to try some martial art moves with the sword staff.
Okay. All right. So by training, you're able to strengthen your bond, and it's going to strengthen yours and the one on your Meriajan's part of the character sheet. And you can spend as many points as you'd like, as long as it doesn't reach higher than 10. Tide, what are you going to do during this hour?
I think I would spend time probably meditating and researching.
Okay.
Just trying to learn more about my place here and what I can do to try and further do decent things.
All right. So you are going to access the library of Mogosh. There, a lot of books of light store a lot of different information and allow whoever wishes to visit, to ask them questions or to visit their tiers, to be present in moments of the past. You are going to do, you said about your place, so are you going to do research on the role of protector? All right. So from what you are able to find, the role of protector is very new. So far, only 3 people have, only 3 Satantras have taken up the role. Each. So soon after, from what you read, soon after Prince Azliz reappeared, a few of the masters of the schools drew some concerns that Acid might try to hurt them because they're the closest person to the ultimate sentiment. So it was devised. A plan was devised to send champions from each of the schools, and you, from what you can tell, there is a lot. The book explains to you that there's a lot of rumors about the protectors, but not a lot was known about any of you before you showed up. Basically, it could be that because you were shattered once before, the bonds you had with other people have now might have become other creatures, and so the bonds would be to those creatures and linked, and the memories might be slightly corrupted because of this. So there were lots of speculation on, if it would be masters from the schools or leaders from the different schools. It was decided that you needed to be at least an apprentice to one of the 6 masters of a school in order to be elected to be a protector, and that's yeah. There is also rumor that Indalis, the evil vizier of the School of Shadows, suggested that certain rituals be done in order to strengthen the protectors even more. The nature of those rituals and the nature of that rumor are not known to anyone, but when you stop to think about it, you don't have any recollections of anything special done to you that would have made you stronger. But the resurrection process is wonky, so that is all you are able to find about protectors.
Good info.
It is expected there will be more soon presented by the last 3 schools, but so far they have not volunteered people.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So the 3 of you are going to find each other at the gates of Mogosh. You are on top of this very large mountain, and as you start to walk through the slope away from the city, you're going to cross through the forest that was offered by the School of Earth, and as you go through, you can you will have a lot of the trees demanding that you state your lies and present proof of your allegiance to Prince Azalis. So some of them will demand to be allowed to visit your memories, your tier, in order to check. They don't want to let anyone through the forest that isn't affiliated with that isn't at least a loyal subject to Azalis. So are all of you going to let your memories be accessed by the trees?
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
So, Mitya, when Whisper starts to give access, you're going to start to remember that the moment you met Azalis in Visage right after your resurrection, there were trees there, and as you keep walking through the forest, you're going to have more and more trees in that memory that are going to be present in that instance. And it's the same for all of you. All of you are going to have the first memory that you have of Azalis be kind of distorted by the presence of new creatures. But that means the trees let you through, and you make it all the way to the bottom of the creature. Once you get there, you start walking for long periods of time, and riding on top of it, you are able to make good progress. Night
still quietly just eating candy.
Okay.
He's just still drawing on this character.
Okay. Now, I think I stated I think I stated that you were all given computer screens with keyboards around the central platform of the TARDIS, and that basically you have your character sheets are on a computer right in front of you. So do I take it to mean that you are using your permanent marker on one of Classis's screens?
At the start, yes. Then he realized that there was like a paint tool, and he stopped like doodling with the marker. But like he still has the marker somewhere in his suit now.
Okay. Now, I know I'm going to regret this, but your character is going to find out. So, if you go to the top of like right above my head. There's the different tools that are available even to the players, and the third one. No, I think it's gonna be the second one for you. Has if you click on freehand, the brush thing that comes out,
If you scroll down, you will notice that we've been busy.
Okay, hold on. Fuck. Okay, you were in Mogosh. Ah, yes. Okay, you have been busy. Indeed. Well, what can I do but give you another immersion point for this? Actually, I'm taking away a point of immersion.
Yes, nice.
Alright.
And it's just like he wants to get rid of the acid. Oh, and I cannot edit like the things that other people made, so like now there's a red dot in the circle and I can't remove it.
Well, that's your problem. Alright, so by the time that the sun sets and the stars start to twinkle, you are going to reach a small village lit by fluorescent mushrooms. It's a quiet place. Because it is filled with trees all around, you have not been able to ride the fox for a few kilometers now, but the place is welcome. You had started to get hallucinations because the night had fallen, but it's always possible when you're outside to look up to the stars, and you will see the stars poking through whatever hallucination you're having. So you reach this point of your journey. Everybody loses 3 points of radiance because of how tired journeying has made you. So please delete lower your radiance. And what are you going to stop and rest here, or are you going to continue? What are you going to do?
I think we should rest, shouldn't we?
Feel?
Sounds good. I think my fire stat needs to be updated after I strengthened the bond.
Oh yeah, yes. When you boost one of your bonds, you also need to boost your own stat by the same amount. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. But yeah, if you raised it by 2 points, you need to raise it by 2 points as well. Okay, so you can see that each house has one of the round shadow rooms in order to rest into, but those are accessible from the inside of the houses in this village. It seems there's a lot of like different creatures roaming around. I'm gonna say that the ones living in this village all look like the white little Sylvains from Princess Mononoke. I know the people I'm talking to right now will not know what I'm speaking of, but you will know what I'm speaking of. So yeah, you enter the village. What do you do?
Should we find a spot to sort of sleep for the night? Well, do rest?
Sounds good to me.
Yep. I will ask the well in the center of the village if there's somewhere where we could sleep.
Well. Look who we have here. The protectors of Prince Azliz themselves. Welcome to Alcove. This is what this place is called. I'm very happy to meet you. And yes, you will find that there are many loyal servants to Prince Azliz here that will allow you to use their shadow rooms to rest. Here, I can bring you to where I rest in my friend's house over there. Or if you're in a hurry, you can simply ask. I'm not going to volunteer anyone but myself, but I will provide my own radiance for you if you're in a hurry. You can devour me and replenish your strength, and I will go and rest afterwards.
Wait, does that mean that the well that is at the center of the village actually moves from its spot to go and rest?
Well, yes. How else would I recover my radiance?
Oh. That's very true.
Even the rooms of shadows themselves need to crawl inside of other shadow rooms in order to use the Alvea essence in order to rest. That is the way of life.
I'm sorry. I woke up not so long ago from a long deep sleep, and my memory is a bit.
Well, if you don't remember things like this, these are essentials. Are you sure you're fit to protect our leader?
Do you want me to argue with you? Do you want me to argue with you? Are you willing to take the risk of an argument with me?
No, calm down. I might be stubborn as the stone around me, but I also know when to calm down like the water inside of me. And besides, I do not take anything that I say seriously. Just like me, it is profound, but it is always hollow.
Interesting. You're quite the fun.
Meanwhile, when you say the word hollow, Alistair stands up and he walks over to class assistants like refill. And he just grabs the ball again and
There you go.
And then he sits down again peacefully.
Listen, dude, I just made multiple well puns. What does it take to catch your attention?
Anyways. He's still and he's like,
Okay, maybe you can come up with an interesting question to ask me for this game and the previous one while you're doing this. Alright, so are you going to take the well's offer to let it feed you some of its own radiance?
I think we won't be traveling.
For me? I mean, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
And Alistair just stands there for a moment and says, like, well, what do we have here?
The well is going to start to turn some of its like to bring up the bucket from inside of it, and out of it you can feel like calming emotions radiating from the water inside that are just going to wash over you and replenish your radiance. It is going to give you all of the radiance that it has, which is 3 points, so you are no longer fatigued, and it has placed itself in an attempt to help as much as it could. It has placed itself in a state of tiredness, so it ceases to speak.
Darius, please do not shatter this.
Well, okay then.
If you so wish, you could. But I am expressing my opinion.
It's like, Alistair's just making word puns with the word well.
So you are. Let's see. You are. Yes, perfect. You are going to be. So all of this is going to be interrupted by the appearance of a very large crocodile who, wielding a mace, whose Elias is gladiating. I'm good. I listen. I love this game. I don't think you understand. The book clearly states you have to try to place as many puns as you can. It's the example that is given. Of course, it's in French. Is that the stonework inside of the palace are always hungry because ils ont la dalle.
Oh, God. It's a French pun. It's a terrible, terrible French pun.
No, it's awesome. And so yeah, the crocodile moves up to you and says, "Typical Citantras, roaming into town, taking all the radiance that's offered to you, like you've always done."
Well, I'm not gonna be one to judge the gifts given to us. Like, we didn't ask for it.
Yeah. You didn't have to. You're the apex predators. You can take radiance from every element. So of course, after bullying creatures for ages and establishing yourselves as the leaders who will bring us to the ultimate sentiment, creatures are gonna offer. Of course. Yeah. But don't worry. I see you. I know about your bullshit.
Oh, God. Are you perhaps tired and angry? Are you perhaps tired and angry?
No. In fact, I am fully rested and ready to prove that I'm right if you wish to argue with me about what I just said.
Very good. I do not wish to argue with you.
Think for a moment. You see Alistair think for a moment, while he eats his candy slowly, and it's like, And he starts shouting at it.
All right. Roll for initiative.
Damn it.
You're only going to be inflicting 1 point of damage to each other because you're both fire-based.
Yeah, of course they are.
So.
Can I roll for initiative as well?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay.
By the way, you can choose to fight with a different element than what you do. For example, if somebody, if Mitya, you want to fight with water, you'd be able to do 3 points of damage instead of the 2 you do with. All right. So, duel starts. Tide, would you like to be involved in this duel as well? Theo?
Theo?
Sorry, it was me.
Yeah. Basically, the gator just rolled in and said, you guys are natural predators, and you come in and you take everything that's offered to you. And okay, do you?
It lagged. Hold on.
Yeah, it's fine. I can see your initiative, and it was 9. Everybody, put in your respective initiatives. And 5 for Darius. So Darius, you were actually the one to start the fight. So you're going to be the first to act. All right. How are you going to interact with Gladiator?
I'm just going to like shout at them like, "Your mother is a hamster."
Actually, that is not a true statement. You would need to use acid in order to be able to use to use that statement. Do you wish
Like,
to
I don't
corrupt?
even know who his mother is. This is trying to insult him.
Yeah, and in fact, most Myriadians don't really have parents because they're just born from the shattering of other creatures.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm just gonna, like... you see Alistair, like, think for a moment. You would make a nice handbag.
You would make a nice handbag. Perfect. All right. Go ahead and... Oh, sorry. Go ahead and make your attack roll. And it is going to answer, "Fuck you!" And it resists your fire attack. What does it look like?
It's actually plus 40 because of, like, new fire.
It still resists your fire attack.
Even though I have, like, 140?
Yes, even with your plus 30, it beats you by 3 points. I got lucky on my roll. So, yeah. What does the attack look like? Darius.
Like, Alistair stands there for a moment and just tosses the candy wrapper, like... I don't know!
Okay.
Something bright.
Something
Something colorful.
Okay, cool. Here, I asked the computer to make a ray of fire. That should look... That's coming out of you. Alright. Cool. And it is going to, like, twirl its mace right in front of the fire, basically just like spreading it and making it completely useless. Whisper, it is your turn.
Then I will use to make my attack. I will use water to make my attack.
Okay.
And basically, I will flick my wrist, and then all of a sudden, the crocodile will be covered with morning dew,
Okay.
fresh and cooling.
Mm-hmm.
And the argument is going to be, you are picking a fight with somebody that just wants to fight. Maybe let's just talk it out. And that's going to be my argument. And I'm going to use 2 points of immersion.
All right. So that gives you a plus 60 to your roll.
There we go. Where is my room?
I keep rolling high with this character.
Yay!
Okay, you can see the dew kind of like evaporates off of him, but Gladiator is going to be like slightly more peaceful, and he's going to say, oh yeah, hold on. He loses 3 points of radiance. And it says, water. I hate water. Tide, it's your turn.
I'm just gonna be like, oh, do you now? And let's see. I guess I'll summon my axolotl and swing it and like, what are the limits on this? Can I pretty much do like whatever the fuck I want?
Yes, do whatever the hell you want. Like,
okay. Cool. I'm gonna swing my axolotl and just send like a ray of water over the gladiator.
Okay. Alright, you send a ray of water. Go ahead and roll water against my attempt to defend. Alright.
Damn it.
Okay, yeah. So, by the way, you, I forgot to say this, but you can spend the points of immersion, of acid immersion after you've rolled, and it still gives you a plus 34 each point of immersion that you spend, but you have to describe how your attack, once it fails, grows even stronger. So, if you want, you can spend, I think that would be, let's see, 3 points, 3 points of acid immersion, and just describe how your attack grows even stronger.
And plus, I think you forgot to add your bonus due to your weapon. So it should be higher already.
Yeah, your weapon gives you plus 32, I believe.
Oh yes.
So you only need to spend 2 acid immersion.
Okay. Let's do it like it won't be the same effect I wanted, but in spraying at the water, it'll miss the gladiator, fall into the ground, soak the ground, and plants will immediately spring up from this soaked earth and restrain the gladiator.
Alright. So it's not doing the animation for me, but I hope it's doing it for you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So what's I don't remember if you gave an argument. What are you trying to say to it?
I'm trying to not quite de-escalate, but gain the high ground through not being too extremely violent. Give a chance for being like, just vague de-escalation.
We don't need to fight, and it is going to answer, "No, you don't understand. I am a creature of fire. I grow stronger with each duel. Fighting is my purpose, and that is how I will rise through the ranks of the fire school." And it is going to charge at you, like lighting his mace on fire, and it is going to. I think it's directly going to go for Darius, because it sees Darius as a worthy challenger. So Darius.
I am completely blue as well. Like, I'm wearing blue clothes. My weapon.
Oh yeah. You're wearing blue clothes in order to make it look like you're part of the water. But you attacked with fire, so he's taking on your challenge in fighting fire with fire. Please roll for fire.
Plus 40.
Okay, in this case, you are going to be able to protect yourself. It's claiming, "I will become the very best," and strikes at you, and you're able to deflect pretty easily. It is now.
Does he want to be the very best that no one ever was?
I was thinking the same.
How do you? Sis is going to say, how do you know the words to this song? And also, that's very good because this game is basically Pokemon. Like, you grow strong. Like, no, I'm serious. You can if you form a bond with any creature you meet along the way, you can add them to your equipped Myriadians with no limit to how many you can have. So Gladiator could become a member of your team.
Even if we beat the shit out of him?
I choose you, Gladiator.
Yeah. Oh god.
Okay. So it's you block the mace completely like evaporating the flames that are around it, and it is your turn, Darius. What are you going to do?
I'm just gonna shout at him like, not if I'm better than you.
Okay.
I'm just mocking.
Yeah.
Like, let me just mock you.
Okay. Roll for fire.
Wow.
And even with the plus 40, you are unable to do damage. Would you like to add some immersion points?
Yeah, I mean, like, how many do we need to spend to make this work?
With the plus 30, you would need to spend. Okay, hold on. 80.
It's plus 40, not plus 30. It's like,
so you need to spend 2 points in order to.
Okay, I'll spend 2 points, I guess.
Okay. What does your attack look like?
Basically just like for a moment my sword turns into a balloon sword and just like.
And you attack
like,
it with the sword?
Mock him and like swat him with it.
Okay. And it is going to take 1 point of damage to its radiance because you're attacking it with the element that it usually uses. And Whisper, it is your turn.
So as Darius is gonna hit with his sword, I'm gonna sort of, when his body goes to the side hitting, I'm gonna appear in his shadow, looking straight in the eyes of the gladiator, and I'm just gonna look at him, and a puff of smoke is gonna engulf him all of a sudden through my body, and my argument is just gonna be, you're gonna be crushed. You are being crushed. And I'm gonna attack with shadow.
Okay. So yeah, you're okay. Since you're saying you're being crushed in the sense of, I'm taking it in the sense of defeated, so you do not have to take acid in order to use that power. So go ahead and roll for shadow. Oof! And the gladiator is going to fall silent as you see the last of the radiance evaporating from its body. All throughout the village, the mushrooms are going to start the equivalent of clapping, sending positive light vibrations throughout the air, making you feel good about having defeated the village bully. And some of the Sylvains are also going to shake their heads, making strange noises that reach your Satantra ears as you basically cheering you on. Both Well and the Gladiator are in a state of fatigue, so they will do anything that they're told to do. What are you going to do now?
I'm gonna go to the gladiator and I'm just gonna I'm gonna go to the gladiator and I'm gonna say, please from now on think very hard picking fights while justifying them with grand statements. If you want to fight, from now on you will just say that you want to fight. And then I will leave him.
I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight. And like one of the trees is going to direct it. Hey, come in here. Come and rest inside of my shadow room. You're all, including the Well, invited to rest in the shadow rooms. So.
Right.
We're gonna say that Darius, even though you're at full radiance right now, through the passage of time you would lose another point. So we're going to go in turn, and I would like each of you to describe what your characters dream of inside of the shadows. Now, remember, you can also dream of interactions with creatures. So, who wants to go first?
Alistair just stands up and says, "I'm gonna dream about candy," and then he like walks over and grabs another handful.
Technically, if Alistair loses an immersion point,
Yes.
Darius can dream of Gandhi.
Yes, that is fair. That's not the reason I'm making this face. I mean, you can't dream of a human form because there's no reason a human form would not exist because creatures of all shapes and forms can exist in this setting. I'm more cringing because Gandhi was a bit of a pedophile. If you do so, and very racist towards black people. If you do a little bit of research on the character, it turns out he was an asshole. That's more why I was cringing than anything else. But alright, Mitya, would you like to describe what Whisperer is dreaming of?
I'm gonna dream of a village of wells just going about their day. Just like, going to a well, just with little feet, going to the market, buying mushrooms, cooking at home, then its wife, well, because they are in a partnership, I don't know, because they have genders, why not? And just our world, but with wells. I'm going to dream of that.
Tide, what do you dream of?
I have a really weird dream about a jacuzzi, and quadrillas, whatever the fuck those are.
Okay. Alright. So all of you regain all of the radiance that you had spent or lost. But there is something else that is going to happen. During your dreams, during your rest, at some point you are going to see a face appearing right in front of your own. And as it starts to emit a little bit of light, you can see around you can see the shadow room in which you are being revealed, as there's this inky portal, black portal right in front of you, through which a creature is entering, and just basically like the rooms in which you are very small, so immediately your personal space is completely invaded by this visitor, and so it's going to visit each of you in turn and say the same message, and this is what it looks like, and it's Noma. Hello. I have a message.
Image.
I have a message from Indelis. He says that you left before he didn't want to say anything while he was within communication rich with the pranks in order to avoid complications, and if you state that this message is from him, he is willing to lie in order to deny that he ever said this. This is the message from the evil vizier. He says, you're fighting a dangerous fight against acid, but be aware, if you need to, you are allowed, it will be frowned upon, but if you are pushed, you should use acid yourself. There's a little bit of leeway between the start, when you start to have bonds made out of acid, and the moment where your mind is taken over by the element. So, if at any
image
point...
from Noma is missing, by the way. I remember what it looked like from last time, but the image isn't here for me.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The image for Noma is missing, by the way. I remember what it looks like from last time, though, but like...
Yeah.
It's here.
This is Noma. This is one of the...
Yeah, it's just a blank page for me.
Okay. Oh, you don't see the image at all? Okay.
No, I don't see the image.
Yeah, maybe you might want to reload Roll20 and you might be able to see her better. So she is going to say, acid can be used if you have a bond, for example, with me. An acid bond, you could lie about anything related to me. If when you make a new bond, you're able to become innocent. Sorry, to become unrecognizable and look like acid for a certain amount of time, and you can lie about your strength and win any opposition of tears, that any fights that you're doing. Well, at least the part of the fight, you will have your argument be convincing, no matter how strong the enemy is. That is all that I have to deliver for today, but I will visit your dreams again someday. And she's going to fall back in the portal, which is going to close, and you can return to your own dreams. In the morning, you wake up, fully rested, but maybe slightly uncomfortable by this encounter. You are... your meeting spot is going to be right in front of the town hall.
Yo, my drawing.
So, what is the first thing that your characters say to each other upon seeing each other in the morning?
Were you two visited by Noma? Yeah.
Oh, everybody gets 1 point of acid murder. By the way, feel free at any point to tell me, hey, I think I've developed a bond, I've interacted with this person and enough to develop a bond with them. Like any character that you come across. Because you need to try to spend those 10 points that you get per session.
There's a thing I didn't get there. Because I wasn't there last session, is it like you get per session 10 points to spend during the next session? Is that it?
Technically, it's 10 points per session, but I just didn't want to have that be involved in the first session because we were already doing character creation. I'm trying to introduce the mechanics as we go along so as not to overwhelm anybody. I remember that last time I tried to do this, I ran it by the book. I read the entire history of the setting and all of the rules, and then my players were very confused and like, yeah.
No, well, that fits. Okay, so I would like to develop a bond with the well.
With?
The well.
The well? Okay, yeah. You develop a bond with well.
So I can choose...
wrote a bond of rivalry with Alligator, basically. Like mutual rivalry about the school fire stuff.
Sorry, what?
It's like mutual rivalry between me and Gator about the fire.
Yeah, you could have a bond of fire with Gladiator if based on the rivalry of like trying to be the very best.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. All right. Give me 1 second. So yeah, you can have. You can spend as many points as you'd like to raise the your bond with that creature. Now,
what is my sword, by the way?
So hold on.
How did that go?
Gladiator. Hold on. Gladiator only has earth and fire elements, so you're only able to develop a bond of fire or earth with Gladiator.
I definitely pick fire again. I definitely pick fire again.
Okay, and the well had water and dark and shadow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a deep dark well.
Well.
That one never gets old.
An oldie but a goodie.
Okay.
Can I also add this like similar bond to my like myriad thingy?
Bond to Myriad as in the planet itself?
Or like my sword, like their weapon, whatever it was.
Wait, hold on. What?
Like I have the blue fire thing, the sword staff.
Yeah.
Like, and I also added to that one.
You can't develop bonds for your weapons. You can't really make them stronger. You can evolve them, and if during my role play I have during the role play that I do of the characters or that you do of the characters, they form a bond with other creatures, then yes, they will just gain points, but not based off of your experience point pool.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, I only added to my character for now.
Alright.
So I'll be AFK for a little bit.
Yep. And
Okay, so this
about-
is the lias of the well you encountered.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah, you're I think the only thing that you said to each other was, "Did you see Noma last night?" And yes. Do you want to do anything else in the village?
I don't think we need to. For now, I think we should just hit the road.
Alright. So, you are going to start. Yeah. You're going to continue on your merry way. As you leave, you're going to see. You're going to feel the fire sentiments of Gladiator as he leaves the range of your ability to communicate, yelling, "I will have my revenge!" And yeah, that's the last you hear of him. So your characters are going to continue on their journey. In the distance, you are able to see this very high mountain that's in fact becomes steeper and steeper the higher it goes, on top of which sits this very large castle full of holes. The wind, even from here, hundreds of miles away, you're able to hear that when the winds go through those the holes, a sort of melody comes out as it looks like a giant organ or a bunch or like a castle made of flutes instead of towers. And this is Bref, the capital of the center of the School of Air. All around it, you can see the Satantras of the School of Air have the unique gift of having wings. They are able to fly, which is something to take into account if you ever play this game again. and yeah, they're from distant memories. You're able to recall that the one of the ways that the element of air can be used to argue is by making predictions of the future based on current events and just extrapolating. This is because it is said that the music coming out of coming out of the instruments of air or out of the city of breath are able to predict the future, and the School of Air is known for having seers that have predicted a lot of future events. You're making your way through the plains, and as the plain is very empty, the fox is going to grow to a tremendous size and is able to cross over to the mountain in just a few steps. And once it arrives at the mountain that is full of trees, it's going to shrink back down. And it is going to say, should we go around the mountain or above it? Or should we could even go to the capital and meet those air fellows, those airheads, as I like to call them.
Do I, by any chance, know how visitors enter this place? Do you have to climb the mountain?
Huh?
Do you have to climb the mountain?
If you desire, you can climb the mountain. If you want, you can forge a creature to have wings and to carry you to the top. You can be summoned by someone that you have a bond with that is inside. There's lots of ways to access this place, but if you have but it also means that anybody who has no sentiment of earth with which to forge another creature and no connection to the people on the inside kind of have to try to climb, and the winds seem to guard the place very well. Basically, it's sort of like a fortress for only people who have access to the air element.
Mm-hmm. Which we are not especially gifted in, I take it.
Well, you're not part of the school, so you don't have access to wings, but that doesn't mean you don't have any way to get up there if you want to. There's ways. Let's see. So.
Are we still? Are we still in range of Azilis?
Yes. Prince Azilis has a tremendous range. In fact, here I will bring you back to the world map so you can have a look. So I was meaning to do this basically. Let's see, draw shape circle. Wait, why isn't there a circle option? Okay, well, I will have to polygon line it. All right, so Azilis, being one of the strongest people in the setting, has basically a gigantic range centered on Mogosh or wherever they happen to be.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, as long as you're within this circle, you should be able to communicate with them. So yeah. This is more or less a circle. This will do.
It's fine.
Yeah. So basically, like it's like a decent chunk of the world, which puts Azilis, based on the rumors that her father could talk to anyone in the world, at about a fourth or like a quarter or a third of his power.
Yeah. Okay. Can I then call on to them?
Yeah.
And just say, my prince, we are currently just under the city of Air. Do you think you could call on to one of the professors to come and meet us? We wish to inquire about a way to fasten our travels.
Yes. Thank you. In fact, I was in the middle of negotiating with some rock golems that are very stubborn, and you're giving me a very nice excuse to get away from my duties. Give me one instant. I have contacted the leader of the School of Air, and they are sending somebody to come and get you right now.
Thank you very much. You helped us tremendously.
I am glad. Listen, when you come back, you have to tell me everything that happened. You used to do this before, and I hope you're not going to stop just because you've been resurrected and you're slightly different. You have some really nice adventures, and I am very envious. So please, take the time to tell me about them when you get back.
We will. We definitely will.
Thank you.
Do I know, by the way, as Whisperer, am I familiar a little bit with the School of Shadow?
Mm-hmm. Are you what?
I'm supposed to be familiar with the School of Shadow because I remember.
Yes.
So, the fact that Indalesi is called Evil Vizier.
Yeah.
What does that entail exactly? What is that title?
Okay, so basically, because the sentiments linked to Shadow are sort of sinister, it's the title that some of that like one of the ancient leaders of the School of Shadow decided would be appropriate, and basically it's become a tradition for, if you're the leader of the School of Shadow, you are the Evil Vizier.
Okay.
And you, as far as you can tell, Indales is okay. So Indales is very, very old, but he's the oldest of the leaders of the schools, because he's never had to be resurrected even once, as far as you're aware. But from what you know, he changed a lot of things about the School of Shadow when he took power. It was a coup, as far as you're aware, and basically his title is one of the things that he kept from the old traditions, so as a gesture of, see, not everything is changing when I'm a leader. So it was an attempt to appeal to the conservatives of the School of Shadow, and that is why he is still called the Evil Vizier, and that is why he still respects the tradition of, if he spends more than 5 minutes interacting with anybody, he has to laugh maniacally when he leaves the room.
Yeah, figured. But otherwise than that, he doesn't have, as a sit-out trial, the reputation for being particularly untrustworthy.
He does actually have the reputation for being super untrustworthy, because he's the leader of the School of Shadows. Nobody really knows what his game plan is. But it's like he has access to some strange powers. It's not just the Mausoleum of Resurrection. He is known to have pulled some stuff that is like some people have accused him of lying multiple times, and he's been checked by others, by other masters of schools who have inspected his tier and claimed that he was not a liar. But it's a very complicated manner.
Yeah, okay.
So people have vouched for him, and people have accused him throughout history.
So, okay.
Right. So, sorry, it's been a while since I've reread about the air.
No problem. Can I use that time to just pop to the toilet?
Yeah.
Real quick.
We are. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
So Polygon is the leader of the School of Air. Hi, yes. Yes. I remember that. Alright, so Dust is the Lias of the Sitantra that is going to fly down and come and pick you up. Okay. Alright. Okay. So, a Sitantra whose Lias is Dust is going to float down. She is armed with a sword called Mistran, with her, she flaps her powerful wings down and lands on the rocks next to you. In fact, the place she lands in, at the towards the bottom of the mountain, it looks like it has in cartoons when a character falls from a very large height and they make a hole exactly shaped like them inside of the ground. Dust is settling right above a hole that is shaped exactly like her, but she's landing gracefully on top of this, above this hole, instead of the hole was already there. And she is going to say, "Welcome. I am to take you to see Polygon. If you would give me your hands."
Yep.
I apologize, but one of you is going to have to latch onto my foot.
I'm gonna grab a hand real quick.
I'll grab the foot, it's fine.
Okay. She expands her very large wings and flaps them down violently, and you're rushed into the air. You see the ground drifting away beneath your feet, and you are the higher you go, the more you're aware of something. You're aware of the entity known as Myriad. The planet that you're on is constantly emitting Earth sentiments, and the farther away you are from it, the stronger those sentiments get. And you're aware that if you fall, you could just get shattered by those, and it's just like it's not even like an active like an attempt to hurt anyone. It is just something that it does, so you have to be careful. Dust along the way is going to say, "I'm. Don't worry. I'm grabbing onto you very well, but you are Whisper. You have to keep holding on." Right. You make your way upwards as the sound of flutes and organs is going to make itself louder and louder. You see. You're able to sense the great number of winds that are rushing through the city and just dancing around in it. And dust is going to bring you to this very large bridge above the void, and presents you there and drops you there safely. She gestures, and this is the highest tower of the city. It is the sanctuary of the void. There's you're above the sea of clouds, and you have reached a point where you're so far away, you're so far up that no sound reaches this place. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, I forgot about this, but Dust actually had 3 pairs of wings instead of just 1. Okay. So on the platform, there is a very large white door made out of marble that leads into the shadow chambers that used to be home to the ultimate the ultimate representation of air before they left this planet. You feel a lot of sensations of abandonment, silence, and emptiness haunting this place as it misses its leader. And you're going to meet Polygon there. The leader of the School of Air radiates with wisdom and beauty. His feelings are pure and absolute, inherited from a long line of Sitantras of the School of the Light, actually. And he's a very beautiful to look at. His irises are clear, and you can see a plethora of stars inside of them. He is believed to be one of the persons closest to the ultimate sentiment. Welcome to my city.
Thank you. Please pardon our surprise visit, but we were inquiring about help in our mission for the prince. We are the protectors.
Yes. How may I help the protectors of the prince?
We wondered if, as members of the School of Air, and therefore well versed in matters of speed and transportation, you knew of a way for us to get as fast as possible to the Labyrinth of Night.
Yes, I do have means that are fast. Are you certain that speed is of the essence? Sometimes taking the time to oh, god damn it. Sometimes taking the time to cherish every step of the journey, every beating of the wings is the best way to grow. And I can see all of you are still very young off of your resurrections. You might need to grow before you can face the trials that you will soon have to face.
Do you expect us to see these trials at the labyrinth? That sounded like an omen.
And the labyrinth is not a nice place. It is where we send our criminals and, lots of beings corrupted by acid are sent there because since we have no other way of disposing of the element of acid. So it is, but it's not the only dangerous place in our on this planet. From here, you can see a lot of them.
That is true. Do you counsel us then to not rush on our way?
Yes, that is what I would counsel. I could offer you a magical carpets that would take you to where you needed to go, but unfortunately, if that carpet ran out of radiance during an attack or something else, you would plummet to your shattering.
I see. This is too bad that we do not have in our midst the School of Air.
Can we not just fly low? Can we not just fly low? It's more about speed than altitude.
You could. It would still be dangerous because speeding low would still have you going at great speeds and hitting the ground at great speeds if the carpet were to as my wise mentor said, speed has never killed anyone. It's stopping that really hurts. Stopping stops.
Well, I suppose you also know, in the words of an old philosopher, the principle of flying, which is to aim for the ground and to miss.
That is an interesting way of seeing things.
Yeah.
How
I see what you mean.
I would like it if I could still help you. We could help each other. I could provide a prophecy for you given by this place. You could stay a while I interpret the song of the winds, and in exchange you could help me out with my own problem. Everybody gets one acid immersion.
And what would be that?
When he hears the bell and he grabs more candy.
I did not understand any of it.
It's almost like a Pavlov reaction. Basically, he hears the bell and he gets up to get candy.
Oh, okay. So more candy shenanigans. So Polygon is going to say, you know how it is possible. Well, there's an ancient ritual performed by the leaders of the schools that allows them to contact the ultimate incarnation of our elements. They used to be present in the world, but they left when they were so disappointed by the death of Sitantra that they climbed up the infinite tower and aimed for the blue planet, and have never come back since. Yet the leaders of other schools have been able to perform the ritual to contact them and ask for their wisdom. Unfortunately, this brings a lot of shame to the School of Air and to the School of Earth, that our elements have never answered us. If I would like to ask you a favor, if you ever come across them, I would like for you to report back to me. This query I ask of anyone who goes through here. or if you come across evidence that they cannot answer for they have been shattered.
Mm-hmm. I don't think this is too difficult of a request for us.
Right.
Perhaps my companions will disagree, but
It is
perhaps
simply,
they will.
Darius doesn't mind that much. He's looking around if there's any other interesting people or like things that draw his attention in general. Like somebody that is active, I guess.
yeah. There isn't anybody else this high up. In fact, there's barely any like elements of air or wind at this altitude. Polygon is going to say, all right, I will descend from this place. Listen to the prophecies of of our city, and I will tell you about the future. You may use this place to rest if you need. This shadow chamber does not get used very often, and it is very lonely. I will return momentarily. He's going to like expand his 6 wings and fly down.
Okay.
And Dust is going to follow him.
Are we really high up?
Yeah, you're really, really high up.
Okay, can I sit like on top of a tower or something?
Yeah.
Talk with clouds?
Yeah, you can hang out with the clouds. Yeah.
Nice, I will do that.
Okay.
And I'll go even one further. I will just speak with clouds for the whole evening before having a rest, and I will try to find if there is a cloud that feels in any way bored or, like that is in a bad mood or something like that, and I will try to find a cloud that could be convinced to come with us.
Okay, yeah. So you are okay. I'm gonna need you to roll for air at a difficulty of 30.
So that means plus 30 or minus 30?
Oh no, you need to reach at least 30 with your roll, is what I'm saying.
Okay. And I can use a point of immersion?
I think the points of immersions are just for fighting.
Okay.
Symptoms of air. Opening, inertia, powerlessness, discomfort, indifference, negligence, invisibility, absence, disdain, distance, distraction, retreat, suspense, ennui. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. There's definitely some clouds that are bored as hell.
No! I rolled a 2.
Yeah, you rolled a 2. Yeah. But like you don't manage to convince any of them that any other any place you could bring them would be interesting.
But
Can I
can't
pick
I,
a
like...
cloud?
Huh?
Do you guys need me to pick a fight with the cloud?
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Couldn't I convince them through another type of argument then?
Yes, you could. Basically, when you defeat something and you bring it to a spot of fatigue, whatever argument you win the argument. So you could be like you make a light show or use illusions of darkness to make promises of interesting things to see. So yes, you're.
I will convene with Darius. I will.
Oh,
Tell him.
Oh.
Okay, come on.
can I make
Yeah.
a colorful fire that draws attention?
What?
What?
I want to make a very bright, colorful fire that draws attention.
Okay. Yeah, you can start
We're
making
very high up.
fires. Okay. So, Mitya, roll for initiative. You're fighting a cloud.
Nice. I love it.
Okay.
Okay, can I set the scene? So what I will do then, So having talked with all the clouds, point in the castle, where we are, I will try to go to the highest point, and I will basically convey to all the clouds around us that I am going to convince one of them that he shouldn't stay here and that he should see the world, and that I have prepared a myriad of statements and arguments for him to be convinced. And I just go and I wait for a challenger, basically.
You hear like one of the bigger clouds is going to move upwards and says, "Yeah, I guess I'll do it."
Wow, they seem fun.
It's a great cloud, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't have my token, but that's not a problem.
What is? Hold on.
Sheet for rolls.
Okay. And it is okay. So the image I'm providing does not look exactly like a cloud. It's what it looks like visually inside of the cloud. This is cumulonimbus. There we go. And it accepts your challenge.
Okay. So my initiative.
Roll for initiative.
There we go.
Okay. Give me 1 second. In turn order. Here we go. And here. So please select your token. Is anybody else going to partake in the fight?
I am, I guess. I lit the fire just to draw attention. I was basically looking for anything to do, like active people or something to fight. So this is great.
Perfect. Now I know how to encourage you to do things. I just present challenges for Darius to fight. Okay.
It's just basically indicator like that was like yes. He's simple-minded basically.
All right. So please, everybody, the two of you roll initiative. Tide, do you also want to challenge the cloud to a fight?
I might as well get in the initiative just in case. I don't.
In case we get smashed.
Yeah.
You're thrown off the wall or something.
Yeah.
Lagging again. There we go. I also will probably have to go here in a little bit, just so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've rolled the initiative. We've established there's about to be a fight, and there's about to be a prophecy. And I think this is a good time to end today's game. I like how you're interacting with the setting, and it's a setting that is very open to imagination and creativity. You can do whatever you want when it comes to attacks. You can change beings from one shape to another. Like there's a world of possibility in this place that is what I really love. So I am looking forward to another game. But next week we're not going to be doing this. You're gonna go back to fighting Craniston or whatever. Good luck with that. I hope you survive so that we can keep playing. Yeah.
As much as Guillermo says to me.
Yeah. Before you leave, you've got 5 minutes before I kick you out of here. Questions?
I had an idea during the session. I think because we've got 2 questions, I think one thing that I need to do is use one of them to ask him telling us a way to contact him whenever we want, and we keep the second one for a day where situation will be shit, will be lacking in importance, and we can call him and ask him on the spot. What do you think? I think he's not liking it by the face he's making, so I think that
I'm not. Okay, guys, I'm not an intervener. I don't. There's a natural order to things, and there's a natural way for things to progress. And listen. There's a book out there that contains prophecies, and it states that what I'm doing right now, I shouldn't even be doing it. The only time I'm supposed to come back is towards the end of book 2 to play a Michael Jackson They Don't Care About Us when you get to the moon and there's like slave labor there. Yeah, like that's the only other time I'm supposed to show up before. Yeah, I know, it's like I'm breaking the rules. So listen, you can ask your question, and that question can be what is the best way to communicate with you, but I can't promise that there will be a good answer.
Damn it.
But I am known to be a liar. It is part of my reputation. So maybe I'm lying to you right now because I am in no way forced to answer truthfully, because that wasn't a question. Sir, any questions?
Do we risk it?
For the biscuit. Like, how, like, basically, I just want to know who are the immortals.
We already know that, I think.
Yeah, but like, us in the, like, better said, where are the immortals?
Okay, yeah, I can answer that.
Like, all of them, specifically.
Okay, so yes.
That's not a bad question. I agree.
Cool. All right.
Especially now.
So, Mythos is. Oh, this one's complicated. Mythos is on Mars, and also on Ganymede. Yeah, Ganymede, and yeah, that's Finland Finger is in a few different places. His body was, his armor was cut into pieces and separated and scattered throughout the moon's shadow. Soren is exactly where you expect her to be at this point. Wilfrid is currently landed in what used to be Asia, and I'm here, and Azliz is... Oh, I didn't check. I still haven't checked, yeah. You were supposed to take care of them, and they were in the base, but you evacuated. Hold on, I'm gonna go and check. So like you see classes just like typing on the screen, and then like yeah, okay. They were placed in a pod with a few other people, and they landed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I'm gonna go rescue that. Yes. Okay.
Nice.
That was the question for the previous session. You will have another question when we meet again, and in the and yeah, it's been really fun. I love playing with you guys, and you are allowing me to prepare the game that I need to prepare. So to you,
Classius,
I say...
Can I ask you a stupid question that's outside of our agreement?
Sure.
Because that would be quite on the nose for what... Are those players you're preparing a campaign for us?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. That smells like the worst lie I've ever heard.
Listen, do you want to use up your question to get an answer I can guarantee is truthful or not?
Oh no, because I see you're lying, so I don't need the truth.
You know,
Yeah, you
that
feel
is
about
fair.
you the way
It's
I
hard.
feel about
That
you.
is fair. It's hard to lie when you have 200 points in creation and 0 in void, and yet I am the liar. All right, have a nice day, everyone. Toodles. And he is going to close the door and start up the TARDIS, which sounds a little bit like, a song is playing.
What a
Meanwhile,
dunce.
like, enjoy the drawings on the bottom of the map.
Oh my god. And that is where we're gonna leave it for today. Have a great day, everyone. Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.